Hello again. So, as I said, this presentation at the beginning should have been done by a colleague of mine who is Lorca Sem, who works mainly on open data topics. So she couldn't attend, and I'm going to replace and to share our global and common thinking about how to combine open data and open source models in order to sustain more open innovation models at the world. So first at all, open source is just started in 18. It's a very, I would say, mature models which inspire new models on open data and open hardware or open contents. All of them are thinking, I would say, by the same people, and from the most of them are American guys and girls, and all of them thought about how can we have an open approach regarding content, regarding data, regarding hardware, in the same way they thought years before about software. That's the first point, and for each of these movements, we have some IP rights behind all of these topics, and for each of these movements, IP rights are used in order to help people to collaborate. That's, I think, maybe one of the main model of open source is using IP rights in order to combine innovative and inspiring collaboration between all kind of actors. So when we see about, when we have a look about open data, first of all, I would say at the beginning of open data, lots of open source activists said, okay, we've done a lot of things regarding software from years, and we are going to do the same regarding data. But it's not the same to share and to collaborate on softwares and to share and to collaborate on software. It's not the same because we have different business models behind sharing data, behind using it. We have different, I would say, organization and actors which are working on both open source and open data. And we have also different nature of asset, or we have, when we are speaking about data, a very huge place of platforms and network and mass effects if you want to combine a lot of different data. Both actors, when you're regarding open source and open data, are, I would say, different. A lot of people which are doing open source don't want to share their data. I would say maybe the first examples are Google or Facebook. We spoke about this organization. They are sharing a lot of software, but they don't want to share any piece of data. And yes, because their their business model is based on it. It's based on the idea they don't want to share data. They want to collect a lot of data, and they want to share technologies. They want to share software in order to have their value based on the data they are owned by them. At the same time, open data is lots of open data projects are not using open source software. When you just have a look on all of the open data platform which are used by collectivities or local administration in France, you'll see that I think 90% of them are proprietary software, because it's really hard for them. It's a big change to share data. It's a very huge and continuous work to do a new to share data, to have a collaborative approach for getting data. So they are not doing open source, not because they don't want to do it, but because it's not the main, I would say, the first point they need to work on. At the same time, we have other projects which show us that we can try to do both. An example I like is Mozilla Location Service, Stumbler, for people who used it a few years ago, which is some kind of competitors to what have done Google in order to help people to localize without GPS on their smartphone. This Mozilla Location Service is really interesting because, yes, they're using open source, but all data they were collected by people who decided to crowdsource to use a phone all the day long in order to give to Mozilla what they didn't want to give to Google at the same time. They wanted to do it because it was for them the best way to work on a common, and they were sharing the same things regarding data and software. On the same another project which is really cool is Open Food Facts. I don't know if you know them. It's yes, in French, yes, in the world we speak about OW2con. OW2con is a company which are using open food facts. Open food facts, it's a community which are doing open source software and open source data in order to help people to share information about food. Another topic which is interesting, another example is software heritage. I think everybody here knows them. I hope so. But that's a very good example about sharing data and sharing source code as a data in order to help people to build new solutions based on this huge database they work on. And to finish, two other examples. The first one is initiatives is EtaLab. The French administration are helping a lot, are doing a lot of open source projects regarding transformation of the administration, and all of them are combining both open source and open data approach. We have exactly the same when you see about RTE. RTE is a French company which decided to have a very interesting open source approach. They last year they co-built a new chapter. I don't know if it's the right place to speak about it. In another foundation, the Linux Foundation, which is the LF Energy chapter, a very interesting one because they decided to work with all their all the factors. All other actors from the energy sector to build new solution, new software, and some of these projects are about data too. And at the same time, they founded the Open Data Réseau Énergie, OW2con, which is a platform which gather data from all French actors which are providing data about energy. And they've done the same initiatives regarding data and regarding software, and now they're trying to doing things better together. And to finish, because I need to be fast, but yesterday I think you had a talk from the DINSIC, Bastien Guéry, and yes, I think what is interesting is that open data, yes, is based on lots of things we think about regarding software and collaboration in software projects. But today, open data is giving, I would say, giving back to software a lot of things. The first, and maybe the main one in France, is in the Loi pour une République numérique. So the law which are asking public administration to share data, they consider that every software has a data. So when a public administration is doing software, they are developing any software regarding their missions, they need to share it to other people. And because they need to share it, they are thinking about how can they collaborate regarding what they're sharing with another administration or regarding other private sector company. And that's a French context, but in Europe, regarding the public sector information directive. We are thinking about how to do the same from other countries in Europe. So maybe in 2 or 5 or 10 years, we have a standard law in Europe asking all administration from Europe to share code. And that's thanks to the open data and all the stuff people have done regarding sharing and transparency from public sector information. So that's, I think, a very good giving back from open data to open source. Other topics which are interesting to combine is how to sustainability, how to combine what you are doing regarding data and what you are doing regarding software, and how can they, all of them can work together in order to have a better sustainability in open models. And the last thing I'm sharing is about sharing value. How can we, in both open data community and software community, how can we work on the best way to share value between maintainers, people which are doing the work, and other actors which are helping the project by selling. That's exactly what it was said just before me. And how can we find the good way to sharing value between all of those actors? And we have exactly the same in both sectors. So yes, it's the end. Thank you very much.